Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini episode, today we're going to be looking at a couple of very different stories, but both of them are truly phenomenally weird. One story will involve an evil painting, and the other will involve an alien abduction that took place in 1978. Either way, let's get into the first article. The new owner of the cursed British painting, well, it's real. Apparently this is what the owner has to say about it, folks. So let's get into a story and hear exactly what it's all about. In August 2023, the first article about a cursed painting of a young girl was published in the British media. Now, this story has continued. It all began when a Briton named Zoe Elliott Brown saw a mysterious painting at the Hastings Advice Representation Centre art shop in St. Leonard's on Sea, East Sussex. There was a note attached to the painting stating it might be cursed, as a previous customer had returned it, claiming it had ruined her life. Chilling, isn't it, folks? But let's continue. When Zoe showed a photo of the painting to her mother, she seemed spellbound and urged Zoe to purchase it. They hung the painting in their house, and thereafter Zoe's mother fell under the influence of the painting, experiencing various strange occurrences at home, while even their dog began to growl at the painting. You can read more here. Subsequently, Zoe returned the painting to the store, then reclaimed it, and ultimately returned it again. The painting was eventually sold for £1,680 to another buyer, James Kelsenbury. According to Kelsenbury, his troubles began when he went to pick up the painting. His car suddenly broke down on the road, and during this mishap, he also injured his collarbone. Upon bringing the painting to his historical building, a tourist attraction, the large TV in the building suddenly malfunctioned and the Wi-Fi disappeared. His employees also began noticing strange flickering and a mysterious figure in black clothes. Consequently, Kelsenbury decided to take the painting to his home, where the unsettling incidents persisted. Initially, Kelsenbury's father-in-law suddenly fell ill, and a previously functional toaster in the kitchen exploded. Following these events, Kelsenbury promptly returned the painting to the historical building. The picture continued its paranormal activities. During this period, from November to December, 2 unexpected floods occurred in the basement of the building. According to Kelsenbury, nothing like this has ever happened here before. There were only very small leaks. We're lucky the building is strong enough so the damage wasn't too severe, but it was a bit unexpected. I know a cynic would say it's just a coincidence, but given the number of events that continue to happen, I really wonder if there is there more to the picture than meets the eye, says Kelsenbury. After I brought the painting to the new location, we kept it wrapped up in the back of our office for a while. For a couple of weeks, no one knew it was there, but staff began reporting sightings of shadowy figures following them. One of the employees even said that they kept hearing footsteps behind them, but when they turned around, there was nothing there, and on the day it was put in its place, our TV exploded and there were interruptions in Wi-Fi. As a result, Kelsenbury decided to call a medium who, looking at the painting, said that most likely the girl in the painting was already dead when the artist painted it, and the artist may have been a spiritualist. But despite the strange incidents, Mr. Kelsenbury has no plans to part with the cursed painting anytime soon. He even hung it in the permanent place in the reception area. We're no strangers to unusual things happening in this historic building. We even have our own plague pits in the basement. We plan to preserve her and hope she can find a happy home here, he said. Here's the cursed painting itself, folks, and as you can see, the woman in it looks like any ordinary woman. But is this actually the home of some sort of spiritual entity, a ghost of a woman who's long since died and, well, I guess decided to stay and haunt this painting? Maybe. Either way, it is kind of spooky looking, but either way, very, very, well, cool, I would still say. But here's Mr. Kelsenbury, folks, the owner of the painting now, who basically apparently is very happy now that he owns a haunted painting, because apparently the place he owns as well is also haunted because he has plague pits, so undoubtedly there's something there as well. Either way, well, good luck to the man. I hope he basically has a very good and fun time with his now haunted property, folks. But either way, very cool. As I said, it's very, very interesting, very spectacular. I hope this guy is all right in the future, though, because God knows what will actually happen. But either way, folks, let's move on to the next article. In 1978, a teenager from a children's camp was abducted by a UFO. Let's get into it now, folks, and hear exactly what happened in this very phenomenal story. In 1978, a case occurred in the USSR, which is still being discussed among UFOologists. Not far from Perm, there was a children's pioneer camp, Rainbow. Every year, several hundred boys and girls rested here, reports, Addy 19RU. They came from nearby cities and villages, as well as from distant ones. Larisa Goryavarova was a native of St. Petersburg, and at the age of 15, she visited the rainbow and found herself in the center of strange events. As usual, folks, this is what happens with these things. People basically are living their lives, and then something, bam, out of the blue happens, and now their lives are changed forever. But let's read on with this woman, or basically, this young girl at time's story. On July 21st, 1978, Larisa Goryavarova woke up at night from the fact that someone was calling her name. The sound was heard in the head. The girl woke up her friend, Masha Ostapchenko, and asked if she had heard anything unusual. The answer was negative. A few minutes later, it all happened again. Larisa went to the window and saw several luminous objects hovering above the trees. The teenager became interested, and she went outside. Everything that happened next was told by Goryavarovan's friend Marsha. Larisa went out into the street and looked around. After making sure that there was no one nearby, she took a few steps toward the luminous balls. There were 4 or 5 of them at first. They hovered over the trees and then dropped to a height of 3 to 4 meters. For some time, the objects were above Larisa and then lined up at the level of her head from 4 sides. Connecting bright blue beams appeared between them. Then there was a flash and Larisa disappeared. Links between luminous objects had been severed. They flew up again above the trees and rushed off to the side. They searched for the girl for more than 3 years. The policemen were assisted by both special organizations and ordinary volunteers. Because of this incident, the leadership of the camp changed, and then it was completely closed for several years. Attempts to rehabilitate the children's camp in the 90s were unsuccessful. Larisa Goryavarova was never found. Marsha Ostapchenko also tried to find her friend, but at the age of 30, she stopped searching. We'll talk a little about how Larisa disappeared after we finish off this article, folks. During the investigation into the disappearance of a teenager, it turned out that these mysterious voices were heard not only by Larisa, but also by at least 2 other male teenagers in the camp. They, unlike the girl, did not leave the camp building. Was the teenager from St. Petersburg really taken away by aliens? Of course, there is very little material evidence for this version, only a retelling of Marsha Ostapchenko, an indirect confirmation of telepathic communication with children in the camp. UFOologists claim that the so-called abduction of people by aliens is a common phenomenon. Sometimes they return to Earth, and sometimes they disappear forever. Much depends on the desire of the person himself and on the intentions of aliens, the researchers say. There is a hypothesis that they abduct people as biomaterial for study. Also, there is a less bloodthirsty version that the aliens are selecting worthy candidates among people to move to a different level of life. Alas, while humanity is at such a level of awareness about aliens that can endlessly wonder what such stories actually turn out to be. Indeed, folks, there are many ways to look at this. I've heard about other stories of people being abducted by aliens, and the aliens, offering them various things. Now, not in all these cases where people actually abducted folks. Sometimes the aliens actually, invite people on board. But not with this case with Larisa here. It looks like she was indeed taken basically, forcibly by these aliens, folks. Like they were basically, trying to get her out there so they could take her. So maybe she was used as biomaterial. But I would not be surprised that it's possible that these aliens offered her a chance to stay with them and learn about, the universe. If so, folks, I can only dream about such a thing happening, but I would not want to be abducted the way Larisa was. But then again, would I pass up the opportunity to actually go with these aliens? As I said, folks, I would not want to basically be abducted. It looks like they just took this girl. God knows what they actually did with her. And apparently, no one knows at all. She never appeared again, and that's very rare in UFO circles, so who knows? But there's also the fact that if Larisa was given a choice, she willingly went with these people. So why? I mean, didn't she love her family? Maybe there's a reason for that, folks. But I just don't know. I mean, they don't mention it in the article, but I can hope that at least her family does love her and they want her back. But I can only hope that Larisa herself is happy as well, wherever she is. Either way, folks, very, very phenomenal article, and it gives us more food for thought. Either way, folks, we're at the end, though. So please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics That Are Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions or the chat to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit the part of the bell that will give you all future notifications. And please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.